Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Akira. We're talking about this special workshop. We are talking about one of the fastest growing type of ramen dish that's called like mazemen or soup rice ramen. This is a very popular ramen dish now that a lot of our customers have been asking us like, okay, well, how can we make this type of noodles, right, for their businesses? So we thought it'd be great for us to share this special, like today being Friday, we have something special for you too. We're gonna do the Mazemen noodles, right? And then, well, of course, but before that, I'm gonna go over some slides I prepared. For those of you who don't know what Mazemen is, right? For you to better understand what it is, and then how we can make them, right? And then from scratch, right? And then um, because of the nature of this workshop, like we're gonna make Mazemen noodles like from scratch, right, on our ramen noodle machine, which we're going to. So I'm just gonna talk a little bit about which we're going to do as well, but we have something special for you that we're gonna do some like Mazemen dishes that you can start making for your in your new business, right, from next week. Kitchen, right? From scratch. So you're gonna have um, the noodles, right? Mazamen noodles, and then you can have some kind of recipe that you can start making, your own next week to some you know restaurant. Um, so I'm just gonna go over like some slides first, right? And then for you to better understand what mazamen is, and then um, going to talk about um, Mazemen and Super Ramen with Richmond Gold 2. So I guess I want to start off talking about evolution of ramen, and then so you know history of ramen has been like very short compared to other types of traditional Japanese noodle cuisines, udon, soba. It just has like been 140 years, 150 years, right, since we started serving ramen in Japan, right? So we got noodle soup kind of imported from China, and then we sort of made our own version, right, based on this Chinese style ramen noodles. And so we started off offering this. I think when we think about ramen, like that's the image like that first comes to our mind, right? Is a hot soup noodle, right? Hot soup noodle ramen, and then so typically we have high volume of stock, right? So basically it can be like light chicken stock or like heavy pork bone stock, right? It takes a lot of time to cook them, and then it costs us a lot of money to make them. Right? And then so soup consists of like soup stock, right? And then tare and a flavored oil. The soup base is like low to high, it could be light soup or like heavy soup, right? But so yeah, and the cooked noodles and then soup, right? It could be like actually cold or hot, and you know, so but we add the noodles, right? Right after we cook them into the soup. So they it's this is a typical standard ramen that we see. We still see, of course. That this is still the most popular type of ramen noodles, right? But we start seeing like tsukemen, the dipping noodles, about probably say like 50 years ago or so, 40 to 50 years ago, so right, tsukemen style ramen, and then so this is basically dipping noodles. Um, I think it was invented after kind of in combination of like no, because we had this culture where we dip the noodles in this dipping sauce, right, and we eat them, right, soba and udon. So I guess like we just you know started like dipping ramen noodles into dipping sauce, and then soup. We still have to cook the stock, right, and then soup stock. I mean soup stock plus tare, and then flavored oil. but then still tare is 3 times higher than the standard ramen, right? And then the soup stock, this is like, you know, medium to high density. So it's a very thick, heavy sauce that we are making, right, for this dipping. Because, you know, we're dipping noodles, right? And then so, you know, or basically have like less amount of soup to work with, right? So we wanna make the dipping sauce like heavier, you know, and then higher in density. So kind of balances out, right? And then we start seeing this Mazemen or IMN or, you know, super ramen. This is the, well, you know, probably one of the fastest growing type of ramen in the world. And then the sauce, there's no stock, right, used, or like in a very little amount of stock used, plus tare and the flavor oil, right? So soup volume like very low or no soup at all, and then the soup density or like the tare is pretty high because there's some soup, right? And then so for the noodles, like, you know, we want to boil and then we want to wash, right? We want to wash in cold water. Then, you know, we want to drain off like excess water, right, to make sure that like this sauce is not, you know, diluted, right? So, but so as we see this evolution ramen, you know, that, you know, there's less soup, right? There's less and less soup, and then, you know, so when there's no soup at all, right? You know, we want to focus on noodles, right? Noodles, you know, it's gonna have, but they're gonna have more importance come to the whole dish, right? The whole product. So the having like really good noodles is very vital in, you know, uh, having like successful Mazemen specialty shop. So yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on. But like for those of you who want to understand more about sauce soup, right? And of course, we teach, you know, how to make Mazemen sauce soup, you know, and then a variety of toppings, and then, you know, it's very easy to customize, right? You know, easier than like you know, regular ramen hot soup noodles, like, you know, tsukemen noodles. So Mazemen sauce consists of like basically, you know, soy sauce based tare, like another sauce tare, right? And then flavor oil. So 55% is basically 50 to 50, 60% is basically this tare, right? Sauce. Then 25% flavor oil, and then fish powder was another like um, seasoning, right? 15% based on dry powder. The vinegar 5%. So that's the kind of typical Mazemen sauce, and then, you know, as you can see, like, you know, doesn't cost much, right, compared to regular type of noodle, like hot soup noodles, or like, you know, tsukemen noodles that, you know, use you know, they stocks that like take a long time to cook, you know, so we'll have to use a lot of gas and electricity to cook them, right, and their labor costs, right? So so it's very, you know, less costly, way less costly to serve this type of ramen dish. So noodles, right? So, you know, but when if we want to succeed in this business, right? Like serving in Mazemen, we want to have like very good noodles, right? So um, talking about Mazemen noodles, you know, I use this chart a lot because, you know, it's very simplifies like the, you know, different types of noodles that can be made like in this chart, right? You can pretty much plot any type of noodles, you know, on this chart by the hydration ratio, the protein content of the flour that we use to make these noodles, right, and then noodle sizes, right. So basically, protein content like determines the hardness, and then hydration. Higher the hydration, softer the noodles, and then noodle size, you know, thinner, softer, harder, thicker, thicker, harder, right. So Mazemen noodles basically like belongs to this medium hydration ratio noodle type, right? So um, it's a fairly large amount of water is used compared to others, and then the noodle size is like a little bit thicker. Thicker the noodle size, I think the more important the noodle texture will be, right? So you know, it's a around like relatively thicker than the medium size. So yeah, typically that's the Mazemen noodle size. And then when we are constructing, right, when we're making like noodle recipe for Mazemen noodles, these are variables that we want to be concerned with, right? So protein content of the flour. We talked about like 13% and probably 7%. Higher the percentage of protein content, the harder the noodle texture, right? So, and then another thing that it's important in like choosing wheat flour is like viscosity. That's in starch. Um, then higher the viscosity, right? The sugar percentage, right? This will be better noodle texture. So and then, but this value is not shown on the product label, so you have to measure it, measure the actual flour that you use, right? So if you have a flour that you want to test it, or you want to test to see like how high the viscosity this that flour has, right? And then you can actually send it to us, for testing, and then we can give you feedback. See how high the viscosity of flour is. So and then we don't charge anything, so please feel free to do that. So hydration is also important. Higher the hydration, softer the noodles, right? Then noodle size is also important. That, as I said, right, the Mazemen noodles, basically like a little bit thicker than the medium size. So medium being like 1.5 million or so, but like a little bit thicker, because we want to taste, we want to have a little bite, when we're having Muslim noodles. And then the last one is pretty important too, when it comes to Muslim. Because Muslim can be like served hot or cold, or warm or cold, right? So when we serve them cold, and then the noodle texture, the tightness, like basically gets harder. So we want to incorporate that into final noodle texture. So if the final noodle texture like could be, if we make them very summer cold, then it's maybe too hard. Then we want to increase the amount of water a little bit, hydration a little bit to make it softer a little bit, or something like that. Um, so these five variables are important for you to consider when making the noodle recipe for your mazemen. So going to ingredients. Flour, water, constantly, right? And then salt, egg, gluten, that makes them hard. And then some calling flavoring ingredients, right? And then grain, flour, whole wheat, and rye, other types of like grain ingredients. So wheat flour is very important, right? The most important ingredients, So like we wanna choose the local flour carefully, right? So protein is one thing, right? And the ash is another thing that, so higher the ash content, right? The, darker the noodle color will be, right? So if you care about the color, then, you want to pick flour with the low ash content. But the viscosity, like we talked about, right? How elastic the noodle become, right? So again, if you have a flour you want to test, right? Send it to us, and then we can send you the feedback, right? So ramen noodle types by hydration. So we basically categorize ramen noodles by like three categories, like the low, medium, high, right? Then so depending on these types, like categories, we change the meeting time, and then other processes about like um, we take like different processes in the ramen noodles, making ramen noodles. So water, in terms of water, and then this is another aspect of water we want to think about, so that it's we can make like good noodle texture, right? So hard water is something, water with like a lot of high concentration of minerals, right? Magnesium, like calcium, right? So when we cook the noodles, right, in this water, because constant salt and the other things like trying to be released, right? When we're cooking noodles, right, try, they trying to get out into cooking water, and in exchange with the noodles absorb water, right? So that's how the noodles cook. But you know, if there's a lot of minerals in the water, so there's less room for calcium salt to be released. So it takes longer time to cook. So if it takes longer time to cook noodles, that's gonna damage the noodle surface. That with the heat, and then we're gonna lose the because the noodles melt in the water, right? So we yield of the cooked noodles is not as great if we cook them in salt water. So yeah, so for I mean, if your water is hard, you want to think about using installing water softener, which is not you know that costly. So constantly is something that we'll have to must put in our noodles to be called ramen noodles. So constantly basically yeah turns there are a lot of constantly different types of constantly, but like basic ones that we use are these two. So potassium carbonate, sodium carbonate. Then so we basically blend the potassium carbonate, sodium carbonate at like different ratios, right? To make different noodle sizes, different noodle types, right? But basic rule is like so use potassium carbonate hardens noodle texture, makes them hard, and then change the noodle color to pale yellow, and then has this kind of strong kind of constant smell, we call it, like not a good um, pleasant smell, but um, so depending on like the size of noodle you're making, right? So this rule is like the thinner the noodle you're making, the more potassium carbonate you want to add, to make them hard. Then the bigger the noodle, like more carbohydrate you want to add, right, to make them softer. So that's just basic the rule. But calcium is basically something you want to have in noodles to be called ramen. And so going to kind of production processes, and then but like most important process in this is well, weighing the ingredients, right? Each ingredient, right, the right ratio, right amount, because if you screw it up, right, then the rest of the process doesn't matter, right? Then we use this method called like digital cooking method. So we measure everything by numbers, right? Numerical values. So and then we go by weight, grams, ounces, pounds, right? When we are measuring ingredients. Because if you go by volume and stuff like that, then that wouldn't be accurate. So we go by weight, and then we measure like well with precision. So anyone can make the same thing like over and over in consistency, which is quality, right? Quality of the product. So we do that weighing, right, and then correctly, and then mixing process. Like so, we are mixing solid ingredients or liquid ingredients, right, in the mixer. And then so what we want to do is like hydration, good hydration, which means that like we are getting the liquid distribute equally distributed like throughout the dough, right? So each part of the flour has equal amount of liquid water, and then you know that would help develop good noodle structure, right? And then resting process, so we basically put the dough into plastic bag and seal it, and then let it sit at room temperature for 30 minutes an hour, and that's gonna help further develop the gluten, and then degas, and then yeah, all the great benefits that we can get out of resting process, right? Basically for texture development, right? The resting process, I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk more about like when we actually making noodles, but so basically this this whole process like is just building, building structure, building the dough, making the dough, right? And then next, this process is just we're just like turning the dough into the noodles, right? So we're gonna thin it and then cut it and portion it, and then for a lot of cases, like people want to put them in the fridge, right? Put noodles in the fridge and then rest them for a couple days, right? And then that's the third resting process, which makes the noodles better. I can tell the noodle texture, make them tighter, translucent, um, and then we're gonna cook them, right? And then cooking noodles is as important as like making noodles, right? Because you know, cooking like just makes or breaks Mazemen noodles. So we want to get serious about cooking, and then I'm gonna talk more about that like when we actually you know cooking noodles like in the kitchen later. But what to take away is like the gelatinization, right? So start your noodles, right? Take up liquid and swell from heating. Then it becomes clear, like gel-like texture. So without this happening, right, in the noodles, and then the noodles still raw, right? Not a good texture at all. So make sure noodles are gelatinized, right? Um, but gelatinization doesn't happen like if enough heat is not applied, right? So we want to make sure we have boiling water, that's above like 98 degrees Celsius or something, right? Boiling, right? Boiling. Before we put noodles into the cooker, right? And then, so another thing that we want to understand is like how noodles get cooked and soggy, right? So we cook noodles, right? And then the soup or like cooking water, like, penetrate the noodles from the sides what the cut surface are, right? Then it gets cooked, but like it has this like very tiny core, right? That's still uncooked, right? So that's like kind of al dente sort of you know condition, right? But like as the over time, like the noodle, I mean water, penetrate through the core, and then when there's no core or like there's no uncooked part, then that's get soggy and soft. So that's what we want to remember. Then so that helps us sell like great noodles to our customers. So then the last one, like I want to talk about like profitability of homemade noodles. And then so if you buy noodles right at like 50 cents per serving, kind of typical, and then if you sell it like 150 servings a day, right, and then 25 days a month, right, and then so total payment, you're making for noodles like $2,500 a month, right? And then in a year you're paying like 22 no $1,500, right, US dollars. And then but if you're making noodles, right, that's the cost of making one serving noodles like more or less 20 cents. Then the same thing, right? And then the total cost of your production per month is like $750. So that means that you're saving 50 to 60%, by making your own noodles. So yeah, it may be time for you to like kind of think about start, making your own noodles if you're not, right? And I want to talk a little bit about like which we're going to as well, like so allow me just a few minutes to talk about which we're going to which is it's been very popular piece of equipment for small to mid side production and then micro manufacturing business. So but there are three keys that make it so popular, right? Is that like three ease of use, right, and then versatility and built-in noodle making results techniques in that machine. So easy to use like possible that's low height, and then 25 kilo the silky mixer is often used in combination with Mission Gold 2. So I'm just kind of showing you this pictures, but like just 34 inches high, right? And then for So the mix about and then 34.5 inches high, like for Richmond Gold too. So why is it important? Is that like so that's the height. That's how high you have like lift like heavy bag of flour or like heavy container of a dough, right? Every time you make noodles, right? So um, you know you don't want to like you don't want your workers to do a lot of heavy lifting. You want to make it as easy as possible for your workers to retain them like as long as possible, right? So we design these two pieces of machine, you know, low, right, height, so that like make it easy, for them to work with. Um, and then it has like some features that make it easy to use, and then one of them is like automatic feeder. Um, so you just press dough right on the conveyor, and then you can leave the rest of the process to the return goal to. Um, well, to make it possible, Vision Go 2 has this like all these safety features, and then like sensing capability to measure how much dough is going in, to be fed to the roller, right? Then it regulates the speed of conveyor to you know regulate the amount of dough going into the rollers and stuff. So it's very smart. That it does. Then another thing is that like yeah, so like when noodles are coming out, like it has this conveyor, right, that carry noodles out, and then your worker would have to catch them, right, and then place them in a container. Um, but like in conventional machine, like this, there's no conveyor or anything. There may not be conveyor or anything, and then like you this point of catching noodles, right, is set to pretty low height from the ground. So you'd have like kind of bend over and then kind of catch noodles in awkward posture like for a while, right? So but Rich Level 2, it's set at like 55 centimeters high from the ground. So basically you can put regular folding chair right in front of it, and then you can catch them comfortably. So it's very easy on the back of your walkers, and then yeah, you want to you know appreciate it. So another thing is that so control on touch panel. Even like roller gap, and then like roller speed, and then you can even like see what's going on in the machine, right? And then even like diagnose the machine like when there's some trouble with the machine or something. So it's very easy to use. In conventional machine, of course, you have to like do it like a lot of switches, and then physical devices that like control like roller gap and other things. So it's very easy with the virtual machine. And so versatility or like flexibility by Richmond Gold 2, we talked about like so it's capable like making variety noodles in variety sizes and shapes. And then this is the big thing with the in terms of like versatility, right? So we use this chart to describe right different types of noodles, but conventional pasta machines are capable of making noodles that are 30 to 60 36% in hydration. You know, but like which we go to, it's capable of making noodles that are like 25% to and 45%. So that's like we're talking about like Hakata Togo's noodles, which are like the most popular type of ramen noodles in the world, right? The Mazemen we're making right in the toyu shoyu style miso ramen, and then of course like fresh pasta, and then even to like udon that's cooking for some types of Chinese noodles, right? So it's very very flexible, versatile in terms of range of hydrations that it can cover. So as you can see in this picture, right? I mean, these are the different those in different hydration. So it's very different. Then variety of ingredients that Richmond Gold 2 can work with. So these different color like flavor though are very easy to make, which we go to they turn them into beautiful noodles. Then so the last one is building noodle making design techniques, right? So you know we, we we install like all these like algorithm like programs, right? That make anyone be able to like make noodles that are as good as say like noodle professional noodle makers with like over 10 years of experience or something, right? Can are capable of making, right? So um, you can put anyone, right, regardless of skill, experience, right, to make very good noodles, and then you don't have to worry about oh yeah that because they he's not experienced like did he like get injured or something during operation because the safety features advanced safety features like it gives you a peace of mind that like you be um you can be rest assured that like well he's gonna be okay and then he's going to be able to make you can expect him to be able to make noodles that are as good as well professional noodle makers. So then yeah, we're gonna make noodles, right, and then we're going to make noodles on which we'll go to, and then we're gonna yeah make some Mazemen dishes, right, in the kitchen later. But like that thing about like this kind of like online workshop is that like well we cannot let you try we cannot like let you smell, experience, touch, feel, right? All these which we go to, and then noodles, and then the what we're gonna make in there right in the kitchen. So but but for those of you who are watching from United States, we do have a showroom in Houston, Texas, right? And then we have a special workshop coming up, right? This February 27th and 28th. During this workshop, like we're gonna share well a lot of noodle making techniques and then knowledge, right? So you'll be able to apply these knowledge like techniques in your business, right? And then start making awesome noodles right, in your business. So and then the best one like you can try the noodles that we make on the during this workshop. And then we do have Ritual 2, Ritual 1, right, available for demo like at this workshop in Houston, Texas. So if you well, if you're interested, right, we have a page set up for you to sign up for the you see, right? It's just 60 US dollars per attendees, like so it's just almost like a steal, no brainer for you not to attend this workshop. So please think about it, right? And then for those of you who are watching from Europe, we have a showroom, Amsterdam, Netherlands, right? So we have a workshop also coming up 20th and 27th. Just 50 euros per attendee. So that's you know that's a very cheap like for the kind of value that we can get out of this workshop. So and then of course we can do private demos as well. And then I think in a sense like you may be able to like get even more out of you know um, private demos than attending this workshop. But um, yeah, well, just try like go to our website agimatonoodle.com. We have pages set up for you to sign up for this workshop. So yeah, please hurry up. Like I think we still have a few seats left available for you to grab. So yeah, before we run out of all these seats, right? Go to the space, right? With the space, we have a limited number of seats available. So please go to like yamatonoodle.com and then sign up for a seat. So okay, I think yeah, we're ready to start making Mazemen noodles. So we have Yeah, we have all the machines here, like in Kagawa, you know, headquarter, MR headquarter, in Japan, and then have all the machines. But yeah, so we kind of skip the mixing part, just to save you some time, and then so let me prepare the dough in advance, right? So that's the first resting process. Put the dough in the plastic bag, right, and then let it sit the room temperature for a while, probably about an hour. So I think what's unique about, so we set the roller gap right initially. So this is a touch panel, and then you can just touch it and then set the roller gap and other things. So what's unique about this dough is that we needed whole grain, right, whole grain powder. So it's it's healthier than the regular wheat flour, flour, right? So and then Mazemen noodles are kind of medium, it belong to like medium hydration ration noodles, but but kind of on the higher end, higher side of like the medium hydration ration noodles. So that's why like the kind of noodles dough size is a little bigger, right? So we started, right? We started rolling, and then so all you have to do is just wind it onto the rolling pin, right? And then the Richmond go to does the rest of the process. Like so you can leave it to the Richmond ball, right? And then so as I said, right, if you put the hand in there, like there's a sensor, the invisible sensor like running, right? So it stops, right? It stops, because it's dangerous. It's open, dangerous, So, um, but it's wide open so that like any kind of dough, however big they are, it can go into the roller, right? But then it's dangerous, right? Because it's a wide open, so it has these sensors, you know. Then if you put your hand in there, like it just stops. So like it's very safe. Nobody can get hurt. So it's practical at the same as well, like it's safe, right? So it's one of the most advanced safety features, like installed in the commercial noodle machines. So that's another reason why you can put anyone, right, regardless of skill, like regardless of experience, on this machine to make um, yeah, awesome noodles. So after the process, like we call rough forming, so the dough is like still fragile, right, weak. So what we want to do is that like we want to separate it, right, into two sheets, right? We separate it into two sheets, and then we want to combine it, right? We want to combine them to make it stronger, firm. Because this process like very vital in developing the good noodle texture for your amalgamate noodles. So you can't skip this process, you know. Um, so we're gonna feed these two sheets of dough, right, into the roller to combine into one, and then so she pushed this button, right, that says combining. So that adjusted the roller gap to appropriate size thickness. So you don't have to do like a manual adjustment, or like you don't have to know okay what the roller gap like you should adjust it to. All you have to remember just push that button, right? So what you can do probably you can have like a simple checklist or something, like you can have like a simple manual on the wall, right? And they just your workers just just need to like look at that manual, and then oh yeah, I need to push this button, so he or she doesn't have to know the all the complicated formula to calculate the gap, right? for the next phase. So it's very easy. Like which means to go to like does the rest process for you. Does a lot of things for you. So yeah, that's why you can because of the current environment where um, it's very tough to hire, recruit, and then retain highly skilled labor, highly skilled workers, right? So you can just have anyone, right, without any experience to work with this machine to make very good like noodles that are as good as I said, like professional noodle makers with over 10 years of experience can make, right? So and yeah, and then you can relax because this workout wouldn't get injury or anything, because of the safety feature that which he has. So again, see, this push the button kind of adjust that for gap automatically. So it's all yeah, it's all very easy and simple. Yeah, so make people to know like when to speed up, like when to slow down as well, right? So it's very smart. Then so combining process, right? We usually do it twice because through a lot of experimentation we've done, like we found that like combine doing combine plot twice is produce the best result. Um, and then from this point on, like we start dusting, right? Start dusting. So this automatic duster is in sync with the operational machine. Then so it's dusting now the conveyor, right? And then so first it does conveyor, and then the dough touches the conveyor and then gets dusted. And then so she pushed the button, right? That says like spinning. Then so again, like you don't have to remember the formula calculation. Just have to remember to push that button, right? Mm. So yeah, it's going faster, right? It's going faster than before. So during combine up to combine process, because we want to add good pressure, right, to develop a gluten, walk the dough. So we want to go slow, but after that we can just go faster. Right? And then so we want to measure the actual thickness of dough because we want to know how much it bounces back from the 2.4. So after it's gone through 2.0 millimeter roll gap, it's actually 2.4. So, that tells us the bounce back rate, right? So we can set the roll gap, right, to see, well, the final thickness, when we're cutting. Then, yeah, so we use this kind of cutter like number 16, which is about 2.0 millimeter in width. So with this cutter, we are making noodles that are like kind of square shape, 2.0, 2.0 thickness width. So we're going to cut and then cut this dough into noodles. Okay, so we're cutting it. Then, so as you can see, like, maybe it's just sitting on a chair right in front of the machine and then, getting the noodles out, right? So, you know, it's, yeah, it's very, I think, easy, right? And then you can catch the noodles and then, place them into little container. And then imagine, like, well, because what the noodles coming out is like very visible. So yeah, it'd be like very nice piece of equipment to show, you know, um, imagine if you put it in inside a restaurant, like inside a factory, you know, then we can put it like where your customers can see, right? I think it'd be like very entertaining, and then for your customers to see, how you make your noodles, and then the noodles they about eat are like being made in front of the eyes, right? So I think it's a very good, yeah, show that you can put on with this video too. So all right, so we have some Mazemen noodles. So let's go to the kitchen, and then um, we have we have this kitchen where that we use for our noodle stool. Yeah, so it's our kitchen, right? And then yeah, so we have here like Mr. Song, right? He's one of our awesome instructors on middle school, and so he's kind enough for us. I mean, to show us some Mazemen dishes that he developed, right? And so, yeah, first of all, like we want to cook them, and then again, like cooking is as important as like making noodles, right? As I said, right? So you want to check out this cooking process as well. So we want to have this noodle cooker that's already water boiling, right? So that's very important. And then so set the timer, right, to 6 minutes. Then so we want to have a little amount of water running, and then stuff like that to keep the water kind of relatively clean, right? Because the more we cook, right, the dirtier water gets, and then that's gonna undermine the efficiency of the cooking of water. So yeah, so there are certain things that are important in cooker as well. So, but if you guys want to know more about it, you can send us an email. Ask a question like leave in comments. So okay, so
はい。今日は2種類の混ぜ麺作ると思います。
Okay, so we're gonna make like two types of mazemen today. So wow, two types.
一つはこのごまベースの混ぜ麺です。
Okay, so one of it is like sesame based mazemen.
で、もう一つはこのドリンクのスライドを使って作ったのタレの混ぜ麺です。
Okay, so another one is like what he made like with the tare, right, with that Sprite. That's very interesting. Wow.
はい。
Right. Never heard of it. Okay.
はい、ごまの混ぜ麺は、麺入れて、このごまだれ入れて、またちょっとトッピングを入れて混ぜてから盛り付けします。
Yeah, so for sesame noodles, sesame mazemen, so we're gonna cook noodles and then chill it and then wash and chill it and then like put it in the bowl like with the tare and then make them start them well and then plate it in the plate and then top them with the toppings.
で、このスプライドベースの混ぜ麺は、もう麺は 麺は盛り付けて、その上にトッピングを乗せて、またタレを上にかけます。
So Sprite, Mazemen is like, we cook the noodles and then we place the noodle, and then put the toppings on it, and then the curry we just kind of sprinkle it over the whole thing.
はい、どちらも同じトッピングで、そのちょっと味とか違う部分で麺が作れます。
Yeah, so it's a very easy and simple dishes that because we are just using the same toppings, same ingredients, right? But like but different flavors, different taste, right? So as I said, all right, Mazemen is like very simple, easy, dishes that wouldn't cost much, right? I mean, compared to like a regular type of ramen noodles. So first of all, like you don't cook these stuffs, right? So that would save a lot of money, right? You know, then so you just have noodles and then these curry toppings. So on there you can have like whatever toppings you want, and then whatever toppings your customers want, right? And then you can let the customers like customize it. So it's very it's very simple dish that, but like very popular and then very good. So you can profitability wise, like it's very high, right? And then it's getting very popular. So you might want to start serving your own like Mazemen dishes, like in your ramen shop like next week from next week, right? So that'd be fantastic. So, but again, like back to noodle cooker, right? So it's a simple noodle cooker that we have around our school, but ramen, we want to cook. We usually cook them, individually, right? So we have faucet, right, running water, right? Then because as we cook more noodles, right, and then all these calcium and salt and stuff like that, don't like dissolve in the cooking water, well, making water dirty, right? So making water dirty, and then that's gonna sort of makes the cooking time longer. So we want to keep the water kind of clean, right, by adding the water, right? But we have this hole, right, that lets this dirty water, drain out. So we can kind of like have like relatively clean water, in this setup. So but we want to have a pretty strong power, right? So that like when we keep adding water, and then but we can still keep the water temperature relatively high, right? I mean close to like a boiling point, so 98 degrees Celsius or so. So that's what's important about cooking a cooker. Okay, so noodles are ready. Okay, so because noodles have um, the starch come out right after we cook noodles, right, and the sauteed noodles. So you want to wash them off with the water, or wash them off, and then at the same time it's kind of like chilling them, right? So when we chill the noodles, right, so we kind of like you know well, it doesn't stop, but like you kind of ease the kind of water penetration of the into the noodles. So you kind of stopping the noodles from like getting soggy. Not really completely stopping, but so after we wash them, right? So drain the water as much out as possible, like from the noodles, right? And then so we're gonna add this tare, then gonna start. Yeah, start. Yeah. So cucumber. Then this is like the peanuts, nuts, crushed nuts. Then coriander herb leaves. So yeah, so Mazemen means mix or like star, right? So that's where the word comes from, like Mazemen, right? Mazemen, like so like mixing or like stirring noodles. So that's what he's doing, right? So I think it's um, better for you to mix it before you serve it to customer, or you you may I don't know want the customer to do it right away. Just gonna plate it and then beautiful. Okay, the sesame paste, right? Sesame paste, what sauce? So just kind of sprinkle the sauce around it. And it's ready to be served. So that was very quick, right? Easy, very quick. Then already one done, and then so personally, I that this is very interesting Mazemen because he used Sprite to make the tare. I have no idea like how it's going to taste, but like um, so.
これソーセージ開けた。
So this topping is like kind of interesting to like. So he actually deep fried like piece of sausages, like and then um, mixed with some mysterious seasoning powder. I'm sure they're hot. I'm sure it's hot. Then oh,
ピーナッツ。
peanut. So I'm surprised that like he's using like peanuts with skin on. Are we gonna eat that like with the skin on? Then okay, cucumber. Okay, so that's okay. So that gives me a little, just a little lot. What's the coriander or leaves, right? So okay, is that or okay? Yeah, sauce, right? This is Sprite Mazemen Tare. Okay, doesn't. It looks pretty good, right? But like looks very spicy. You know, very red. It looks pretty good. Wow. Okay. Oh, we adding some more. Oh, so that's the chili. Um, kind of like shredded chili on top. So just for the color, right? I think the color. Okay. So I think you want to think about like is that what is that?
ニンニク。
Garlic, garlic. Oh,
いえ、
green
特製。
green garlic. Oh,
ニンニク特製ニンニク。
oh, special garlic. He's saying. Never seen garlic being green, but looks wow. That was oh, that was dark radish or something. Nice. So you guys can charge can print command print premium pricing like these two dishes Mazemen that you can start making from next week, right? Then start selling ramen shops. So So that was easy. That was very simple. And then, as I said, right, Mazemen, like it doesn't cost much for you to make. You could noodles and then sauce, tare, and then toppings, right? So and then it's very easy to like customize. Let your customers like customize their own Mazemen dish, right? So it's almost like you can do like almost like Chipotle kind of setup, right? Or like a Subway kind of setup, for like within this Mazemen dish. So um, yeah, it's very like you don't have to cook your own dish stocks. Doesn't so it's you don't have to do have a lot of like preparation time, right? So it's very easy dish. You want to, but it's very popular, right? So it's one of the fastest growing type of ramen dish in the world. So I think you can definitely think about serving a Mazemen dish, right? Even like starting up Mazemen specialty shop. Um, so yeah, that's what we had for this class. But like again, it's so bad that I feel so bad. Like I couldn't, I can't, let you guys try this, beautiful Mazemen dishes, right? So well, to fill that gap, right? I suggest that you guys go to our showroom in Houston, Texas, right? And then, or Amsterdam, Netherlands, or even come to Japan, right? Come to Kagawa. Then we'll definitely treat you with this beautiful and then delicious Mazemen dishes. So please think about that. We have a page set up for you to sign up for these workshops too. So on our website, yamatonoodle.com. So please go there. And before we run out of these seats. Um, so that's it for this workshop. What we had there. This workshop is thank you so much for watching. And then next week we have I think udon, right? And then some bian bian man coming up next week. So we have pages set up for you to sign up for these workshops as well. So please do that today. I'm at noodle.com. So all right, so thank you so much. We hope to see you back in the next workshop. So thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.